Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be opening another one of the Miniverse Real Brands. I was able to get one from Target on my last trip. The original audio for this one was lost. I thought my mic was on, but it had died shortly after starting, so I'm doing voiceover for this one. I really like how in this series they come in the little shopping bags, and they're made of paper, so you can reuse them, and they're really nice and easy to fold up. I might even iron them so they're good and flat like I do with the newspapers. The first one we got was the orange cherry and grape popsicles. Love those. Really used to get them a lot in the summer. I love how it's a 3 count because it's all they could fit in there, but they used to come with a whole bunch. I love how these always used to come with jokes on the sticks. You could usually read most of the joke at the bottom, but whenever you get done with it, the punchline would be revealed. And then this is like a packet of the strawberry jam for the Smuckers, I believe. Yeah, Smuckers strawberry jam. I thought it would be a lot more tedious than it was, but it honestly wasn't too bad. Getting it open, the actual little packet was kind of a pain, so I had to get some scissors out, but it comes with a little spoon, so getting it in the jar isn't too horrible. As far as texture goes, it's kind of sticky, gooey. It kind of reminds me of Silly Putty, but it wasn't just too bad, like leaving a residue. But it had a good shine to it, but it absorbed fingerprints really quickly. But that little plasticky sheet seems to let the fingerprints go away, as well as the inside of the jar. So it wasn't too bad. I was worried the jam would look kind of gross once it got in there after touching it so much. But after it has time to sit, it doesn't look too bad. And I sped this up because it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. And then once you get it all stuffed in there and the cap on, you end up with a little extra. So I just put it back in the little bag that it came in. Our next one is the Hostess Snowballs. They're the pink little coconut, I guess, snack cake, you would call it. I like them. Just snack cakes, I guess, not really snowballs. I'm not too super big on those, but I love any kind of sweets, especially if it has chocolate, and this looks like it has some kind of chocolate in it, so I'm sure I'd like it just for that. But I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I've had one. And then Pringles. We have those a lot in my house. The big selling point with those for us is that we always know that they're supposed to have a good amount. It's filled to the top. You don't have to worry about the air for the bag because they're in the little tube. And I always think back to the guy who created the tube saying that he wanted a piece of him buried in the tube. I don't know if that's actually true, but I think about it a lot. And I feel like the Pringles, it's a little bigger than the mini brands, but it's a good size. Especially when you compare the chips to the container. The last one is the Planters Mixed Nuts. A good variety, but expensive in real life. Oh, looks like the top came off in there. Let's see if I can get that back out. Because you had the little silver seal. I'd return those if I got those in real life. Looks like we've got little cashews and almonds, and I'm pretty sure the green ones are pistachios. Wow, I love the detail. And stay tuned because we're going to be using this to make a new craft that I think is going to be really fun. And I want to take a look at some of the other stuff again. A little more detailed look. I really like having this one because I used to tear these up when I was a kid. The orange was definitely my favorite, but I always had to fight my mom for the red ones because those were her favorite. But I wasn't too big a fan of the grape ones, so we always had just a ton of the grape ones around, but I'd eat them slower. I love that Miniverse is actually taking the effort in and putting the actual things inside the boxes. Take note, Mini Brands. I wonder if they see it as like a competition or if they just see it as like two people saturating the market with minis. I know they're not really people, they're companies, but I think you get what I mean. Then I want to take another look at the Pringles and actually see what they look like. Let's get a doll hand for scale. I think that's perfect. I want to look. I know I just put them up, but I want to see. Oh yeah, that's pretty perfect too. And I was worried about getting them back in there once I dumped them out. That's the main reason I didn't earlier. But it really wasn't that bad. Because these aren't just stacked perfectly. I just kind of threw them in there. But the ones on top look like they are. So I'm not even going to bother. I think that looks pretty good. And the seal can still close. And the lid can still go back on. So who's to say that wasn't how it was to begin with? And then it's been a little bit, so the jam has settled and the air pocket has moved to the top. Well, top because it was sideways, but I'm thinking that's looking a lot better because I didn't like how it turned out with the air pocket at the bottom. But maybe if we set it up right, it'll settle a little better. And then I put the extra jam back in the bag, and I think since the inside of the bag is slick, yeah, it's gonna give it back its slick texture. Because I was worried about the fingerprints making it all gross looking. And some of it got on this box, but I don't think it discolored anything, because I was kind of worried about that. For these, I'm going to keep one in the bag and one I'll take out. I think these are so cute. I don't know if I've ever actually had one because I'm not a big coconut fan, but I always think of the Zombieland movie whenever I see them. I know they discontinued them for a little while. They're kind of squishy. They're a little harder than I thought, but they still have some squish to them. I'm so tempted, but I'm not going to cut it open because Toys wasn't filled, so I don't think they are. I don't know how they would really do that anyway. I know the Uncrustables don't seem to be filled, which that's kind of asking a lot for them to fill the miniatures, but the box kind of makes you think that they are. But I'm sure that's just how the real box is. But yeah, I'm excited to do some stuff with this. I got everything I was looking for. And I think we're good on this series for a little while until they kind of drop in price, because these are kind of a pricey one. Though I will say it's worth it. But you also have to worry about finding them, because it seems like this is the least stocked one I've seen. And I guess it must be a Target exclusive, but every Target I've been to, they only get like one box each, it seems like. But anyway, it's been fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.